Hey everyone, and welcome to part 9 of our Explainer series. Today, we're embarking on a massive quest across the Great White North. We're talking about the geography, the provinces, and the incredibly diverse regions of Canada. Whether you're gearing up for your citizenship test or you just want to wrap your head around the sheer, mind-boggling scale of this country, you are absolutely in the right place. Let's get right into it. So, here is our roadmap for today. First up, sea to sea. Then, provinces and territories. After that, we'll hit the 6 geographic regions, followed by capital and major cities. Then we'll take a look at climate and national parks. And finally, we'll wrap things up with a citizenship practice quiz to test your knowledge.
All right, Section 1. Sea to sea to sea. Let's talk about Canada's epic scale.
Check this out. Canada is the second largest country in the entire world by land area. I mean, we're talking about an unbelievable 10 million square kilometers. But here's a crazy fact for you. Despite all that space, the vast majority of its 34 million people live within just 200 kilometers of the southern border. Why? Well, the climate down there is just a whole lot milder.
And that brings us to the number 3. Canada's frontiers are actually bordered by 3 vast oceans. You've got the Atlantic Ocean way out east, the Pacific Ocean out west, and then the icy, freezing waters of the Arctic Ocean up north.
It's exactly those 3 oceans that inspired Canada's famous national motto, A mare usque ad mare. That's Latin for from sea to sea, though these days it's often expanded to from sea to sea to sea. It's not just some catchy marketing slogan, it really captures the historical weight, the massive geographic span, and the deep maritime heritage of the entire nation.
Moving right along to Section 2, provinces and territories, and how exactly this huge country is divided up politically.
So, here's a really crucial legal contrast you need to know. Canada is made up of 10 provinces and 3 territories, but they are absolutely not the same thing legally. The 10 provinces actually hold their own constitutional powers. That means their authority is baked right into the nation's founding documents. The 3 northern territories, on the other hand, that's Yukon, the Northwest Territories, and Nunavut, well, their powers are delegated to them by the federal government. It's a super important distinction, especially if you're taking the exam.
Next up, Section 3, geographic regions. Let's break down the 6 major ones. I want you to lock this number right into your brain, 6. The official Discover Canada guide groups the whole country into 6 major geographic regions. And honestly, grouping it this way is a game changer. It makes studying so much more manageable and helps you visualize how the economy, the climate, and the culture totally shift as you move from coast to coast. Let's start out east. The Atlantic region is made up of Newfoundland and Labrador, Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick. This area is completely shaped by the ocean. You've got these stunning coastal rock formations and historic villages, and it's been world famous for centuries for its fishing, its shipbuilding, and just having these beautifully preserved communities. Now, moving inland, we hit the absolute industrial heartland of the country, central Canada and the Great Lakes St. Lawrence region, which covers Ontario and Quebec. This is hands down the most populated area of Canada. It's the economic engine of the whole country. We're talking incredibly fertile farmland, massive manufacturing industries, and major financial hubs. In fact, more than half of all Canadians live right here, mostly in cities and towns, clustered near the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence River.
As we push further west, we leave behind those dense cities and fertile fields of central Canada, and suddenly, the landscape just bursts open into stunning, world-famous mountain ranges. It is an absolutely breathtaking transition.
All right, let's group the final 3 of our 6 regions. First, you've got the agricultural powerhouse of the prairie provinces, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta. Think endless wheat fields and massive energy resources. Then, further west is the West Coast, specifically British Columbia, which is famous for its gorgeous Pacific coastline, majestic mountains, and a booming tech sector. And finally, the vast Northern Territories. This region covers an entire third of Canada's landmass, but has only about 100,000 people. It's known for its rugged Arctic landscapes, incredibly rich indigenous cultures, and huge mining resources.
Okay, on to Section 4, capital and major cities. Let's talk about where most Canadians actually live. So, this is the Rideau Canal. It's located right in Ottawa, the national capital of Canada, over in Ontario. Fun fact for you, Ottawa was actually chosen as the capital way back in 1857 by Queen Victoria. Today, it's home to Parliament Hill, the Prime Minister's office, and it really serves as the beating heart of Canadian democracy.
But, of course, Ottawa isn't the only major player on the map. Canada is anchored by some massive metropolitan hubs that act as the backbone for international business, culture, and education. We're talking Toronto, which is Canada's largest city and financial center, Montreal, the second largest predominantly French-speaking city in the entire world, plus Vancouver out on the west coast, Calgary and Edmonton in the prairies, Winnipeg, and, of course, historical Quebec City.
Now for Section 5, Climate and Nature. Let's look at the great outdoors.
Canada really operates on nature's rhythm, experiencing 4 very distinct seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. But because the country is just so huge, that climate varies wildly depending on where you are. You could have mild, rainy winters on the west coast or long, freezing winters up north. But what truly unites all Canadians is this shared, deep-rooted responsibility to protect their natural heritage. Canada has an incredible, extensive system of national parks dedicated to preserving its mountains, forests, lakes, and unbelievably diverse wildlife for generations to come.
All right, Section 6, Citizenship Quiz. Time for some practice questions. You've absorbed the geography, the regions, and the cities. Now it's time for the final challenge. We're going to lock in everything you just learned with a rapid-fire citizenship practice quiz. You ready? Let's do this.
First up, a classic test question straight from the study guide. Can you name the 3 prairie provinces? Take a second and try to picture that mental map we just built. Got it? The answer is Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta. Remember to associate these 3 with endless wheat fields, cattle ranching, and massive oil and natural gas resources. If you got that one right, awesome job. Let's keep that momentum going. Next question. Which 3 oceans border Canada? Think back to those massive coastlines we talked about at the very beginning of the explainer. And the answer is the Atlantic Ocean in the east, the Pacific Ocean in the west, and the Arctic Ocean up to the north. This ties in perfectly with that historic Latin motto we discussed earlier, from sea to sea to sea. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought to ponder. We've seen just how massive and geographically diverse this 10 million square kilometer nation is. So what do you think truly unites this vast country from sea to sea to sea? And more importantly, as you step into its future, how will you help shape it as a citizen? Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. Keep studying and keep exploring.